Hello everyone. In continuation of the parent-child series, last time I had spoken about the 10-year-olds, how to bring them up, how they explore, how they observe, and then how they adapt. So it's all got to do with the energies that they share when they are observing, exploring, and adapting. So now after the age of 10, the 11th year and the 12th year again goes in observing, in stabilizing, and it goes, exploration is still there. Okay, so basically they're trying to stabilize and they're also trying to understand what is important for them, what is not important for them. So 11 and 12 is where they are simmering. It's like known as the simmering age, right? Age of 10, watching, observing, absorbing, adapting. 11 and 12 are the years where simmering starts taking place. And when they enter the teenage, that is the 13th year, 6 months before, and in today's generation, we could say the teenage actually starts when you turn 12. Now, during this time, the parents are actually facing different kind of situations with their children. In fact, they become a little subdued also, or become over aggressive also with the children. Now, the mails that I have got and the questions that need to be answered are that when their children are teens, what happens? Right. It says the teenagers are watching too much mobile and lost in the virtual world. I would say observe your own self. When these gizmos have taken place, or this wasn't there in our generation, but I remember still that my children were teenagers and the advent of mobiles basically was so exciting for not only for me, that I actually bought the mobiles for my children also. So I detached them from the real world and got them into the visual world. I introduced them. So when they're watching mobile and when they're lost in the virtual world, it's nobody's fault, but it's a generational fault, and I would say it is also somewhere our fault, because we introduce them so fast to all these things. For example, before the child is 10, I have observed the parents giving iPads because they can't be bothered about really paying attention to the child. And the parents, there are some parents who have been very disciplined, and there's parents who have actually very consciously understood the fact that these technical gadgets can actually do more harm than good to children. So what they've done is they've not introduced the children to the teens. In fact, they've told them that yes, these things are available, and they will only come at the appropriate time when you need them. And fortunately for the children today, even the schools are demanding that the children have laptops and they have their iPads, because that is the demand of today. Okay, so but at the same time, now the parents who are already have teenage children and who are already watching too much of how to de-addict them from there, and they're lost in the virtual world. Now again, I will repeat, at the cost of repeating myself, observation. The child is observing that we are also doing the same things. So many times I've corrected my own self also consciously, especially, and I don't even have that problem where my children are married, I have grandchildren, they're all in their own world. But I have myself in relationships because I want to nurture relationship with my partner, or when my children come home, I want to nurture the relationship with my friends. I consciously try to de-addict myself, give it only a particular time where I devote to, whether it's my Instagram, whether it's my own YouTubes, whether it's my, watching the social media in general, or what's happening around the world, how it is happening around the world. So my curiosity gets the better of me. How did I de-addict myself? Is when I dedicated that 1 hour a day to my phone, and I did it before taking a siesta, a nap. And people who are not getting into a siesta or a nap, probably they can dedicate it in the evening. But 1 hour deliberately, as a family, consciously, myself and my husband decided no phones on the right on the lunch table, or on the while having dinner, or when we are there as a family together. But 1 hour as a family, we give it together to the mobiles also. That okay, this is our rest hour, this is our me time, this is my space, so this 1 hour I will completely dedicate it to the gizmos. See, here you cannot force it on the teens that you will not do such and such thing, you cannot do it. But you could probably keep a timetable schedule, because teens are, they still are watchful, they still are respectful, they still are that kind of children who will listen to the parents, because they know that till the time they are living with the parents, they have to go by the rules and regulations of the parents. And it has been observed, even in my experience it has been done, that we know exactly that okay, if we lay down a particular discipline and follow that discipline as parents, the teenagers are bound to also follow the same thing, at least till the age of 16. Okay, now second question comes, moves around too much with friends and are also influenced by friends. The chances are that again, here I'm being a devil's advocate by letting you all know that the chance, again, the fault does lie with us, because probably we have not been able to cultivate that confidence in the children that they could be our friends. Looking back, if you listen to my YouTube, where I've spoken about the children who are below 10, that how they are observers, how they are explorers, and then how they adapt and absorb. So see, when a child becomes a teenager, and in the 11th and 12th year he's stabilized and he's simmering, because there are certain situations probably he's absorbed and adapted and also observed that he does not like it, and he becomes uncomfortable. Now when we get into the birth and natal charts also, we can actually come to know which is the age, whether it is 11th or 12th, or whether it is from 10 onwards, that the child's Mars becomes very, very active. The child's Jupiter becomes very, very active. Because 12 years it takes from the birth for the Jupiter and the Mars to manifest. Jupiter is all about expansion. Mars is all about action. And Mercury is all about your communication and intelligence. So the Mercury, like I said, is the fastest moving planet. It's the fastest moving planet where all human beings, they can utilize their intelligence, their way of communication, either to their benefit or to their detriment. And sometimes you all must have observed that the child who was so sweet and didn't say a word, anything, or was too silent, suddenly when he becomes a teenager, you see a new nuance of him, where he is over friendly to his to his friends, either becoming too communicative with his friend but remaining quiet with the parents, and or he's lost in his own world through these technical gizmos. Basically, his intelligence has taken the better of him after having learned what he likes and what he doesn't like. Age of 11 and 12, he's waiting for that opportunity when he can start commanding his own self. So once the parents understand that at the age of 11 and 12, when Jupiter is coming and playing an active role in the child's life, the Mercury is igniting that intelligence, and Mars is the ignition point where he starts taking action. How do we handle this situation now? Firstly, of course, getting deeply into what the child is becoming and what he is wanting to become is completely transparent for the parents to understand the map of his child through your natal charts, through the child's natal charts. and also having your own natal charts made, that how can you react and how can you act and improve a situation. That is where, in today's world, wherever I go globally, my advocation or my main mission in life is to tell everyone, or to spread it as far as I can, that life is not about predictions. It is about helping you create your own prophecies by understanding your own self through your natal charts. So life is what you make it. Life is what you, how you handle it. But provided you know that which is the best way for you to handle, what is the best way that you can rectify situations. So the parents, if they understand their charts, they exactly know that how their intelligence, which tangent line it is catching, how do they, are they capable or not capable or balanced in their communications with their children, or how they can articulate their words and probably change the tone of their voice. Because for parents, I always respect them. It is not what they say that has an impact, but how they say that has an impact. So you will understand, are you underplaying your emotions, or are you overplaying your emotions, and how to harness the emotions of your child, when to say a particular thing, how to approach that particular thing. And moving around with friends is not important, as long as the child can maintain his own identity and his intelligence. But if you ask me, getting influenced by friends, it's a byproduct. It is you, the child, right from when he's taken a birth, has been a victim of observing and adapting. Okay, he hasn't used his intelligence. Now he steps into the teens, where he started understanding his intelligence. So now he's observing and adapting to the outside world. After the age of 24, will he understand what he was taught as a child and what he learned as an adult, how to blend both of them. That is when he becomes a youth. So actually the birth chart or the natal chart is a fantastic navigator of how to harness the energies of your own child at a particular age. And don't fear. If you have that confidence in yourself, you needn't fear, you needn't force it on the child. But when you're having your friendly get-togethers as a parent and as a children, remember to never leave your guard of being a friendly parent. If you're a friendly parent, would you know everything and about your child? Because the child will develop that confidence in you of coming and relating to you of whatever happening outside. But immediately if you start troubling him by telling him what is right and what is wrong, trust me when I tell you, there is never a right and wrong. It is only the correct way of saying it and the incorrect way of saying it. Because as parents, y'all are bothered about your children. Y'all are the only, I would say, genuine well-wishers about your children. So understanding yourself, how you approach a subject, and understanding that how your child would appreciate it and take it at when he's a teenager, will do you a lot of benefit and good. Thirdly, it's saying influenced by friends and opposes parents' views and thoughts. Please welcome this. Remember, you're a friendly parent. Even if he's influenced by friends, he's confident enough to come and tell you that I think you guys are wrong and my friends are right, because this is, just take it this way, that the child is now exercising, absorbing, exploring and adapting to something which is outside the world he was used to. He has to learn, he has to grow up, he has to experience. And if you give a patient listening, and then obviously when he says that I want your opinion on this, you have to again be a friendly parent by not opposing, and never do the mistake of opposing the child whom he is mixing around with. You guys are nobody to sit judgment on anybody. I would also say the same thing. I mean, when my children, I knew exactly everything what my till date, and they are all now getting into a stage where they are going to be stepping in another couple of years, becoming seniors themselves. But I know everything because they just discuss with me, they just tell me, and I am a silent listener. I only give an advice when they ask for my opinion. And they say, no, talking doesn't require discipline, it's keeping silent that requires your energy and discipline. Remaining silent is a humongous task. If you start exercising this now by listening to your children, putting forth your opinion, not by saying that you are correct, by saying this is what you think. And the child may take it, may not take it, he may argue with you, but then you all should be confident enough to validate the point that you all are trying to put across. Not by examples of what happened to whomsoever it happened, but by your own personal example, if you have any. But if you don't have a personal example, remember, you are putting your fears and anxiety on your child, who is still observing, who is still exploring and still adapting. So obviously he'll become a rebel because now he's in those simmering years and he is ready to take action. Please have an open conversations, keep your communicative lines open, and have an exchange of thoughts. And I always say that I am so thankful that you guys are listening to me, because I also talk out of experience. You all have to start observing. I have till now, I observe, I adapt, I explore. Now, how do I observe, adapt, and explore is I observe and adapt what my children are trying to tell me, because they are not always wrong. They are of today's generation. We are of a different generation. So I try to adapt myself to their way of thinking. They say you have to flow with the tide to bring the tide back. You cannot swim against the current, but you can swim along with the current and make sure that disasters don't happen. Eats outside most of the time, and irregular eating habits. This I've explained very well. These are habits that are built right from the birth. Observe yourself. Are y'all eating outside more often than not? Because y'all are also young. The parents of teenagers are also very young, and we are at that time where we want to party, we want to have friends at home. Then when we have friends at home or we want to party, we don't really want to cook in the kitchen, because the eateries are available, the takeaways are available, the Swiggies are available. So okay, we collect a lot of friends, we ask food from outside, and everybody's having a joyful time. And during those parties also, we are not disciplined. Like, frankly speaking, I learned this from Europe, that when the parties happen, every time that I've attended a party in my 48 years of life, is they have their dinner bang at 6:30, 7:30. 6:30 the dinner is late, 7:30 everybody has their dinner. After that you can keep drinking and keep enjoying and doing whatever you want till whatever VRs out. Also I've seen my son-in-law and my children, they're having their fun, and the children have been put to sleep after the age after 8:30, 9:30. Teenagers 9:30. And of course, the extensions vary according to the ages. So what's happened in this, now when the teenagers are, getting back, exploring the world that is outside than the world that they have been used to, they also become excited. It's say adopting bad habits is much faster than breaking them. Adopting good habits takes a lot of time. Adopting bad habits is very, very fast. Breaking the bad habits can be equally fast, but provided they have a conducive atmosphere at home. And you have to, again, when you're bringing up children, life is not easy. You don't have to sacrifice your life, but at least you have to be disciplined yourself, to be asking discipline from the child. You have to be making food yourself, having your family, because the having family dinners together, by family I mean your children, the children that you brought into this world, and also inviting you, the parents, the grandparents, and once in a while, the grandparents may not be living with you all, but once in a while, making the child understand what is a family get together and making it enjoyable rather than a family get together of banters. Most of the children have come and complained to me ki, auntie, we have never seen, when we are sitting or observed or experienced that we are sitting on the dining table and having fun. Kenna, most of the time we are unable to finish our food also, because there's so much of arguments of what we didn't do or what wrong we did during the daytime, and how the father has only this time to explain this is right, this is wrong, or the mother is explaining. Kenna, it's all about explaining and tantrums. Where is the fun? So most of the time they say we eat out and we come because we don't want to hear anything. And remember, why are the teens so aggressive? The teens are aggressive because a whole new outside world has been explored in front of them. So they're exploring that. And they're finding a lot of respite in that, because it's a new world than the world that they are accustomed to. So you as parents, your duty is to blend both these worlds. Bring a little bit, maybe you'll ask for whatever they want to eat from outside, but eating it as a family, and then discussing nothing but the food that you're having, or the fun you're having, or what other exciting things, or planning the future, whether it's a holiday, whether it is a meal, whether it is something. But abstain from criticism on the dining table. So this way, when you all don't criticize, you won't be criticized. And we all have a difference of opinions, but they have to be sorted out amicably rather than using the accusatory tone. Very subconsciously, the parents or the grandparents also, to some extent, they're also, basically we adults, I will not term you all as parents and grandparents, when the adults that are in the life of the teens behave in a way where it becomes accusatory, the teens, of course, lose their old cool, because they have now known and understood and become aware of the two different worlds, an interior world on which there were conditions, and an exterior world which is completely different than the world that they were used to. Now, after the teenager system, after the age of 24, will they realize that how to blend the best of both these worlds? And by that time, they've had brickbats, they've had their faults, they've had their experiences, and so have the parents who think that they've really become exasperated. So it's a big responsibility. Now again, I would say that through the birth chart, when we keep becoming aware of ourselves at particular ages, that what are the changes coming into us, we adapt accordingly. It's like clothes. We know we are slim, we'll have the slim wardrobe. Then we know that we put on weight when during the festive season. So we have that wardrobe also, where now, or we make a new wardrobe to fit into those clothes. Then we become more larger, so we get into, and then we become conscious. So life is also the same. We are born raw, then we explain and we try to fit into the world that the parents create for us. Then we try to fit into the world that is newly exposed in front of us. And then we realize that we should have actually made our own world out of seeing the best of these worlds, because everybody wants to lead a good life, and so do the children. So understanding them is your part to play as parents, and then working. Life becomes easier when you actually know which period your child is going through, and how we can harness that curiosity of his can also be learned through the natal charts, through the birth charts. And then Slowly, when they become youth at the age of 24, you can actually realize what is happening in their lives, but only till the youth level, because by that time they would have made. I would be talking about the youth in my third segment. Meanwhile, please listen to the first one, see the answers, apply it to yourself, then listen to the teens once again, because teenagers are midst the exploration of not leaving what they had learned to something new in their lives, which they suddenly see that there is a whole new world out there. So be supporters to them, not by encouraging them, but by being a friendly parent and understanding your own selves through your own birth charts. Stay blessed.